Hi guys, welcome to Clockwork Noodles. We are back again with one of my favourite animes of the breakdown season. 7th episode of the Aquatope on White Sands. I really enjoy this anime. This anime has been an absolute pleasure and treasure of the season. A definite hidden gem of the season. So before we get going, make sure you guys are subscribed. My midway review is up for you guys to check out what my top 3 OPs, EDs, and my top 3 animes so far is. Seasonal wrap up. I've started my research. I've got roughly what's going on next season. There is a lot going on next season, guys. There's a lot. Lots of good animes coming our way, and I don't think I've got enough time to talk about all the animes I want. So I'm going to have to really consider what it is I want to talk to you guys about. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you see that video when it goes up. There is to a Discord channel. This allows you to have notifications to your phone whenever videos go up. Let's get going. And I didn't think this would be the case, but the obligatory beach episode in an anime which has been centered near the beach every episode. A bit of a strange one, feels a tiny bit pointless, but it is a very important episode nonetheless. But it's just quite funny just to have the beach episode with an anime which has had nothing but beach shots. Once again, though, we are greeted by beautiful artwork. I was really impressed by seeing how clear the ocean was going over the sand. Just that shot itself looked really, really good. Whoever is the person who was designing that sequence, kudos to you. You've made a wave running over the sand looking amazing. The beach episode, however, actually turns out to be one of the more realistic episodes of beach episodes I've ever seen. I like the fact that they actually included the fact that it was way too hot for a small bikini. I don't know what the sun factor over there is, but I had this when I went over to Tenerife and I got horrifically sunburned and I was only out for a day. So I can understand that if you are a local, you don't want to have all your skin on show constantly because the burn factor is just way too high. So it's a nice little hidden factor that I don't see often mentioned or even spoken about too often. It really is the case that a tourist who is only going to be there for a short time would wear a bikini. They're there to enjoy the sun. That's what they're there for. But the locals who live there 24/7, they don't really need to do that. They don't want to risk burning, and they're more at risk of things like skin cancer if they are just walking about non-stop in a bikini. Very, very nice little touch there. Mega kudos. The music this sequence as well is beautiful. It feels exotic. I almost felt like I was in Spain. I felt I was at the beaches. It was hot. It felt like summer. It really feels free and fun. Good choice. The barbecue looks absolutely tasty, really fantastic. Another great food scene from this anime. This anime has been fantastic on its details and food sequences. Something I really like about Slice of Life is just the ability to add things in like that, which just you don't get in other animes. A lot of animes don't really spend time on, we're just going to cook some udon and it looks amazing. This is me getting my Slice of Life fix. I'm enjoying it. Yet another character with blue in their designs. So we are meeting Maho. Maho has blue eyes and she's got the violet blue hair that is similar to her brother. Satoko Higurashi. It is her, right? It's definitely her. Satoko, is that you? Please don't do anything freaky. Don't do anything scary. I beg you. She's not credited, but I would be shocked if it wasn't her. Maho is actually a key element this week. I didn't think she would be, but because especially when we first met her and she felt a little bit pointless. It was a sister of a brother. I was like, okay, fair enough. She's just there. But what she is actually a key element because Maho is the setup for the sister talk. And this naturally triggers talk with Cuckoo, which is very important because it leads us to start considering the idea of Cuckoo's lost sister because Cuckoo would have had a sister, so she would have had a sibling if things had been different. She actually grew up an only child. We end up seeing a bit of her backstory, that she was more or less a loner at events surrounded by people. She didn't really have anybody close to her like a sibling would be, but it all allows us to get backstory, and this backstory is really, really fantastic and also helps develop our characters a little bit. But we also get some information that Fuka is older than Cuckoo, so I wasn't sure, but it does seem that Fuka is a little bit older. This is where they also draw the similarity that she's actually like her sister, or she's very, very similar to a sister to Cuckoo. Also, the fact that she is older is, I'm presuming, similar to what her other sister would have been, because when we see the pool sequence, she looked a little bit older. So perhaps the sister Cuckoo never got to meet was slightly older than herself. The ice lolly scene as well, just showing us perhaps a different relationship between Fuka and Cuckoo, this time as a family-related relationship, as opposed to something more romantic. This is definitely going to be the anime where you can draw your own conclusion about these two. But sadly, let's go into our second segment. So it is really an episode of 2 segments. Let's talk about life without the aquarium, which is really the real motive behind being given a day off. And it kind of sucks that he did that. I get where he's coming from, that the fact that he wants them to get used to doing other things, but it also really kind of sucks because that is the real motive. And it does seem that no matter how hard they work, it looks like he's not really going to be budging. It doesn't really seem like he's overly interested. So even in the start where she was saying, hey, look, we are doing good, we've got more visitors in, he wasn't really looking or listening. He was too busy having his neck massaged. It does also seem that Kuya, who starts to play the main starring role in this next sequence as well, has got work lined up or perhaps an offer somewhere else. It does seem that it's a perhaps likelihood that both girls are going to have something even more in common by the end of this anime, whose dream may also end up in ruin, just like Fuka's. Are we going to have a circle where we begin at the end, or we end up with a dream coming to the end? I hope not. I do hope that we're able to actually have a good ending with this one. It's a possibility that both girls are going to have their dreams broken or their dreams lost to them, and we don't know what's going to happen after that. The big question I wanted to ask was, what would it take for the aquarium to stay open? Sadly, it comes down to money. This is going to be a lot of money. It takes a lot of money to run these places. Obviously, if you're not getting the customers, which would surprise me that they're not getting it, because it seems like it's a tourist spot. I don't know Japan well enough, but it does feel like the beachy locations will still make for a big tourist spot, no matter if you're a local or an actual tourist to the country. And again, aquariums do seem to do pretty well. Now, Satoko definitely coming through right here, but at least she is honest. Definitely using her boyfriend until someone way more hotter comes along and the person she wants to marry is around. Kids are really scary, they really are. This sequence indirectly gives us a bit more on Kuya, as we get some more random fish facts coming our way with the Battle of Knowledge, which again shows us how knowledgeable Kuya really is. Because up until this point, he's been a complete mystery, a character who hasn't really said a lot, always seems to be a bit tired of work, but then when you consider he's been working straight, no breaks, definitely feel for the guy because that doesn't seem legal. But Kuya showing off his knowledge is probably also the reason why Kuya has perhaps been headhunted or has been offered another role if the aquarium actually does close, because knowledge like his is very rare to come by. When I was a young kid, this is a fun story, I must have been about 15. I couldn't drive just yet. I did go to a fish aquatics place, and I knew a lot about fish. I was one of those kids who enjoyed reading books about everything. And these guys literally offered me the job. And obviously I'm 15 by this point, couldn't really drive, I had to turn it down. But it's just showing you that knowledge in things like fish is really hard to come by. It's not something that a lot of people go into. So I can fully understand that Kuya would actually be quite the top pickings to go somewhere else. Now, our open scene, we're going back to the open. I think this last week's did this as well, where we open on a scene that enters a little bit later on. I really rooted for Kuya. I was rooting for Kuya, not the kid. I'm sorry, I feel bad, but Kuya is kind of really cool and he's really growing on me. I don't know why. But it does seem that Karen may also be the one who really likes Kuya. This definitely feels like it's a Kuya segment, which is quite nice. I think Kai had a bit, and now we had Udon had a bit last week as well. But when he is drunk, he really does seem honest, and we get to see an honest side of Kuya. Karen definitely likes him, but it's really, really sad because Kuya's life was actually ruined by rumours. And this kind of thing is just horrible because rumours really do have the power of words as well, to destroy someone's life. It is the power of what words really have. And he had his entire life taken from him. He ended up dropping out of school. He ends up with that reasonable dislike to females. But we do get a backstory from him that shows us how dedicated the director actually is. And the director really does know his stuff. He knows it. And it's also a job where you need to know your stuff to be performing this role. He cares for the aquarium, but sadly, obviously, some stuff has happened along the way, and now we're at the point when he no longer can keep it open, or he no longer wants to have it open. But it shows us once more that Kuya's journey, when he was lost and he had nowhere to go and he really didn't know where to go, he ended up being found at the aquarium. And all the characters we have been talking about, the aquarium has been there for them when the people need it the most. There's something I keep mentioning. I think I mentioned it last week as well. He ended up finding his way. He found an interest in fish, and he perhaps didn't plan to start in fish. He ended up with a interest, somewhere to go, and something he really wanted to strive in, something he really actually ended up caring about. He's also really, really sad and angry at the fact that the aquarium has to close. Someone mentioned it earlier in this episode as well, that Cuckoo maybe has more in common with Kuya than she even realizes, which would probably be, I think it's the moment where he's showing off his fish knowledge, and he's the same. He really does know a lot about fish. Because Cuckoo and Kuya do feel very similar, because the aquarium does feel a lot to Kuya, who was lost, and really the world must have been against him at this point with the police involved. Finding the director, Cuckoo's granddad, at the aquarium, having a chance at a life, being given a chance, regardless of all your past, I don't care about all that, you've been given a chance at living your life and being yourself. It really must feel like the aquarium is a home to him. But we do end on the very scary line that Cuckoo may not handle the closure when it happens. It is a very scary thought that this anime, this slice of life, which is here to make us all feel good and enjoy ourselves, may end up with quite the sad ending if it does go down the route that we can't save the aquarium. Nothing's really going to change the director's mind. Something needs to happen, and something drastic needs to happen. Maybe Fuka can put some of that idol goodness into use. I don't know if her mum is rich. Maybe she is. Maybe she'll be able to donate. But things like that are just temporary fixes to something that you need to find a permanent fix for. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the anime ends. But I like the fact that we've got a bit of a darker episode this week. It's an episode that makes you think that not everything ends with a happy ending, and Kuyu's backstory is very, very sad and very tragic. Not everything has a good ending. It's a possibility. This anime may be showing us the goodness and the possibility that she may end up not actually having the thing she loves at the end. She may end up losing the one thing that she dreams about. She too might be like Fuka, and they both end up with their dreams crushed. It's another fantastic episode. Thank you guys for giving me your support. I really appreciate it. I really hope you guys too are enjoying the summer and not getting burnt, being safe. Make sure you wear sun factor, whatever you wear. And I will see you guys again next week. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.